Hey guys, it's me, Basket Brain, and I am back with another video. So today, we are doing the 2022 NFL playoff predictions, and I'm not alone, as I am here with Coaster Brain.
Hello guys, I am Coaster Brain, and yeah, I'm back after a small hiatus, and I will be doing the NFL playoff predictions with Basket Brain.
Alright, without further ado, let us get into it. So the first matchup here, we got the Bengals versus the Raiders in Cincinnati. Both teams with long playoff losing streaks. And for who I think is going to win, I think it's going to be the Bengals. Now, the Raiders started off the season good. They were one of the few undefeated teams. And they started off pretty good, but then they somewhat fell off towards the middle of the year. Whereas the Bengals started off strong and have continued to go strong throughout the entire season. And we're playing in Cincinnati, and I think the Bengals are just better, so I'm saying the Bengals are going to win.
Hey, yeah, I also think the Bengals are going to win. They have better teams, and they also have more motivation to win after they haven't won since, I think, 91. And fun fact, the game that actually kicked off their playoff losing streak was against the Raiders. And I think the Bengals are thirsty for some blood, if you will. And I think it's going to get messy. The Bengals are going to win.
Alright, now moving on, we have the 3 seed versus 6 seed Bills versus Patriots. Now, for my pick, the thing that I've noticed is that over the past few years, this 3 seed has become a death trap. Now, since 2018 through 2019 season, no 3 seed has beaten a 6 seed in the playoffs. And I don't see that trend ending this year, especially with this matchup, because while the Bills may be slightly better, I still think the Patriots, they've got Mac Jones, who's going to be the offensive rookie of the year this year. They got a great coach in Bill Belichick, a playoff caliber coach who's been in many Super Bowls. I think that'll definitely help a rookie Mac Jones. And this is probably the one matchup that the Bills did not want because of how much of a hard time the Patriots had given them throughout the course of the year, as they both kept it close in both games they played, especially the one in Buffalo where they still won when Mac Jones only passed 3 times. So yeah, I'm thinking that the Patriots are going to beat the Bills.
And yeah, I honestly think that, what I think here is the Patriots are going to beat the Bills. I hate to say it, but unfortunately I do think the Patriots are going to beat the Bills. Right? Especially because they have Belichick, they have Brady. Or they don't have Brady. They have Mac Jones. And they still have a weak defensive core, and I think they are going to do it today. Alright, so the next one.
Now we got the Chiefs versus Coaster Brain's very own Steelers. And unfortunately for him, I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs to win. Because it's nice that the Steelers are able to get on the playoffs, one last playoff game to send off Ben Roethlisberger's career. But the Chiefs were able to pick it up at the end of the year, especially because the Steelers, they're not even that good. But they still managed to get in the playoffs. I mean, they're good. They're still good, but I'm like, they're not as good as the rest of the teams in the playoffs. And plus, the Chiefs are just the Chiefs. They're really good. So I think they're gonna win, especially that's at Arrowhead.
Yeah, as much as I want to say it'll be one of his fourth final game, I don't think it will be. I think the Chiefs are gonna win. Just they're in Arrowhead. They have an amazing team. They have Travis Kelce. They have Patrick Mahomes. What else is there to say? I think it's gonna be a blowout, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to be one nice send off the bench.
Yeah, alright, now let's move on to probably the most interesting of these wild card games. One that I think is personally going to be the best game, the Rams versus the Cardinals. Now, there only is one problem with this, is as I say, it says that the Cardinals are home when the Rams are at home. It's at SoFi in LA. And that, along with the fact that I feel like the Rams probably have a better core than the Cardinals, I think that they're going to pull it out, especially since Hopkins isn't going to be playing for the Cardinals. I think the Rams are going to have a couple more weapons to draw from than the Cardinals, so I think the Rams are going to take it.
And I honestly think that this one is going to be on to Cardinals, and that's because the Cardinals fell off recently. I think they can get back together. Because, one day series, the Cardinals were to win, and I think that they are going to win. And I honestly think that the Cardinals will pull it together and will secure a victory today, or Monday night.
Now we got the Cowboys versus the 49ers. Like I said earlier, the 3 seed is a death trap, and I think it's going to stay that way because I think the 49ers are going to beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys, their offense is somewhat lackluster, and the elite 49er defense is just going to have a field day with them, and I just think the 49ers are on a hot streak after their win against the Rams. I don't think they're going to relinquish that, and I think they're going to take it against the Cowboys.
Yeah, quick fun fact about this game is that only the wild card games that did not have a previous matchup between the 2 teams earlier this year. Anyway, I honestly think that the Cowboys are going to win. I mean, they have a great offense, you know, and it might be a bit lackluster, but then again, they put 56 points on prime time against, and basically just bullied Washington. And I really think they're going to win it. I think they're going to pull off a win against San Francisco at home between the most toxic fan base in America.
Alright, and then, yeah. And then we got
Tampa Bay versus Philadelphia. These teams faced off earlier this year in Thursday Night Football with Tampa Bay winning by a score of 20-22.
Yeah, and I don't think that their win is going to change because it's nice that the Eagles were able to push into the playoffs, but having a really terrible schedule kind of aided that because, I mean, the best record teams they won against were against the Broncos and the Saints. So they kind of had an easy schedule, which is why I feel like they performed, which is why I think they were able to get into the playoffs. But they still doesn't take away from the fact that they're a decent team, but the Buccaneers are just so much better. They're the defending champions. They're going to try and defend their title. They're just going to smash the Eagles. I don't even think it's going to be remotely close. But, yeah, Buccaneers over Eagles.
The Buccaneers are just going to bully the Eagles on national TV, and I think it's going to be close. The Eagles might put up some consolation points, but that's it.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the divisional round. We have the Titans versus the Patriots.
And the last time these 2 teams met was between the Patriots and the Titans earlier this year, and where the Patriots won by a score of 36-13 in New England in Foxborough.
And while this game is in Nashville, I think the Patriots are still going to take it. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because even though Derrick Henry is coming back to the Titans for the playoffs, I don't know how great he's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be hitting the ground running. And for the Titans, I mean, they have the home field advantage, but it's not much of a home field advantage because they don't have the strongest fan base in football. And with the Patriots, I feel like they just have more I feel like they have more weapons to use. They have Bill Belichick, who again is a great coach that I think will really help the Patriots. And they also have, and I also think their defense is also going to flourish throughout these playoffs. So I'm thinking that the Patriots are going to defeat the #1 seed and head on to the AFC Championship.
And as for me, I think that the Titans are going to win with King Henry back. I really think that the Titans are going to pull off a win here. As much, and you know, and that's good because then the Patriots are out. But yeah, I think the #1 seed Titans are going to manage to do it. You know, I honestly think they are going to pull off a win, especially with Derrick Henry back, and their offense will be like it was before. Next up,
got the Chiefs versus the Bengals, and
the last time these teams met was actually earlier this year, in January 2nd, where the Bengals pulled off a win by only 3 points. 34-31 to secure their playoff spot. However, will they secure a spot in the AFC Championship? Let's see.
I personally do not think so, because while the Bengals have had a stellar season, the Chiefs really came back for things. And I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Mahomes is better than Burrow. The Chiefs, they're still young. Because I mean, while Burrow and Jamar Chase is a really great duo, I don't think it's going to be Mahomes with Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. And the Bengals, I think they have a bright future, even though they're just too young to really do much this year. They made it past the wild card, but I don't think they're going to make it past the divisional, especially if they're playing in Arrowhead, one of the most hardest stadiums to play in, and just pro sports in general. So I'm saying the Chiefs advance to the AFC Championship.
And yeah, I agree with you there. The Bengals are young. However, do you think it's going to be hard for the Bengals to do it? It won't be pretty, but I honestly think that the Bengals are strong enough to pull it off. don't know how, but Bengals are going to AFC Championship.
Alrighty, now let's move on to the NFC Divisional. We got the Packers versus the 49ers. And
yeah, the Packers versus the 49ers, their last matchup was earlier this season, where the Packers won 30-28, a very close game.
And I think that trend is...
And I know I didn't predict this matchup, but I don't think it'll be close at all. Now, you, Basket Brain?
I think that the Packers are just going to continue that trend because they're in Lambeau during the playoffs, which is a huge advantage to have more mentally. And they also are just better than the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is on a mission because he's going to try and finally make it to get that Super Bowl, even though he already won one before, but he wants to win another one. And who knows, this could potentially be his last year, so he wants to win it all one more time. And I think that the Packers are just going to beat the 49ers because, I mean, it was a good effort for the Niners to make it this far, but I don't think they're getting any farther than this.
And I think the Packers are going to play against Arizona. And as for this one, the last time these two teams met was, I think it was on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, it was. Where the Packers broke Arizona's win streak in Week 8 and snapped their 7-game season-opening winning streak.
And the Cardinals, after their loss, they told them, see you in the playoffs. So it looks like they are going to be seeing each other in the playoffs in your predictions.
Yeah, they are going to be seeing each other in the playoffs, I think. And it might be an NFC Championship, but I think it'll be the divisional. And I honestly think that while I could see a small chance of the Cardinals pull through, I think the Packers are winning this.
All right, now let's...
And I think that, yeah, you know, as you said, Rodgers on a mission. And I think he's going to do it this year, folks. I think he's going to do it.
All right, now we got the Buccaneers versus the Rams, who played earlier this season, and the result of that was...
The Buccaneers versus the Rams played earlier this season. The result of that was Tampa Bay actually lost that game 24-34.
And I think they're going to lose again in this round because, well, obviously they have a better quarterback. Tom Brady's obviously better than Matt Stafford. I think that the Rams are just going to have a better core and and I think they're just going to be more elite in this game and just better overall on how they play. I think that the Buccaneers are going to lose because, I mean, their team is good, but I just think that the Rams are going to take it.
Yeah, also Stafford's better. Anyway, I think that's going to be Buccaneers versus Cowboys, and I really pains me to say this, but I don't want to say this, but I think they're going to win. I hope they don't. I hope the Cowboys get blown out 70-0 in the first round of the playoffs, but we all know it's not happening. And the reason why I think that, and by the way, these teams are one of them's going to bookend the season against the other team. Definitely, we know that if they play each other in the matchup, then one of them is bookending the season against the other team. Let's just say, because they did play their first game against each other, and for one of these teams it will be their last. And unfortunately, I think for the Buccaneers it will be. You know, I think that the Cowboys are just a slightly better team. They've gone together, they've definitely matured a bit from how they were in the beginning of the season, and how they were last year, and I think they can pull it off. Probably like a close 24-21 game there. Next up, let's go on to the AFC Championship. That's the dream. You had it being between the Patriots and the Chiefs.
I sure did.
These teams last played in 2020 on the 5th of October, where the Chiefs won 26-10.
Admittedly, that they didn't have.
The Patriots aren't the same team as they were back then.
Nope. Admittedly, they did not have Mac Jones, so they did not have their same team that they have today. So I feel like this game will definitely be a little closer, but I think that the Chiefs are going to win because, I mean, while Mac Jones is good, and I think that it'll be kudos to him for making it this far, but I just don't think, like, he's not as experienced as Mahomes, and I think that Mahomes' experience is going to come into handy no matter what weapons the Patriots have. I just think the Chiefs are better. They're playing in Arrowhead, which, like I said before, is a huge advantage to have. And I think that the Chiefs are just going to get it done against the Patriots and advance to their third straight Super Bowl.
And I had the Bengals playing against the Titans. Now, I did not open the tab for this one before. Sorry about that. That was the one I missed. But on either side of things, but I think the Bengals are winning this. It'll be hard, but these two teams are a bit lackluster, but a bit strong at the same time. I think the Titans are finally going to collapse under the pressure, you know, and Nashville isn't that far away from Cincinnati, so I think that's what Patriots end up making the AFC Championship in Nashville. Their fans, or if they even play against Nashville in the division, their fans are definitely going to travel well. And where we saw earlier this year on Monday Night Football, Bills fans traveled well for a primetime game against Tennessee, I remember.
Yeah.
And that is much farther than Cincinnati is from Nashville. I think that, you know, Cincinnati, you know, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, they're just going to get it done in Nashville. I don't think there's really that much of a chance for the Titans. So let's move on to the NFC Championship, where we have Packers versus the Rams for Basketball and Basketball. And Basketball has the Packers. And these teams last played earlier this year, the Packers won 36-28.
And I think they're going to win again because, again, they're in Lambeau. Huge advantage. And while the Rams have improved from last year, you also saw this matchup last year and the Packers won. I think they're going to...
matchup last playoffs where the Packers won 32-18.
And I think they're going to win again. And like I said, they're in Lambeau. Big advantage. Aaron Rodgers is on a mission. The Packers as a team are just better than the Rams. No matter how much the Rams have improved last year, the Packers are going to get it done in Lambeau and advance to the Super Bowl.
And for me, I have it being Dallas versus Green Bay. I think it's going to be Green Bay winning this. Now, the last time these two teams played was actually 2019, where the Packers won 34-24, and I think it's going to be similar scores here, honestly. I mean, Dak has been doing well, but how will he adapt to the cold climate? How will he adapt to the Packer fans, you know? And playing in Lambeau, the last time that Dallas played in Lambeau was actually in 2016. And I don't even think Dak was on the team at that point, was he? He was.
Yeah, I think he was.
They lost that game. And Dak, you know, Dak has never won in Lambeau. That should be granted. He's only played there once.
Yeah.
But still. You know, I don't think Dak is ready for the pressure of being at Lambeau in the cold, and the Packers defense to lead.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Rodgers is just going to get done. So let's move on to the Super Bowl, and that's where you had
the Chiefs versus the Packers. And
the last time these two teams met was earlier this year, where it was a small bit of a game. Kansas City winning 13-7.
But this time, I think the Packers are going to take the Super Bowl. And
this will be a rematch of Super Bowl I.
Of course. And, I mean, I predicted this last year and it didn't happen. I also predicted the Chiefs winning last year. It didn't happen. But let's see if this year I actually get it right, where this happens and the Packers win. Because, like I said, Aaron Rodgers is on a mission. I think the Packers are just going to play better no matter how good the Chiefs are and how good Mahomes is. I just think that the Packers are just going to play better in the game where it all really counts. Because, I mean, they've made it to the AFC Championship last year, and they made it there last year and the year before that. Both times they lost.
The year before that.
Yeah.
They made it like 4 years in a row.
They've made it like 4 years in a row. They've lost every time. But this time they're going to break that, and they're going to make it to the big game finally, and they're going to take home a win and secure their 5th Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought you were talking about it anyway. But yeah, that's the thing, is that Green Bay, somebody makes it to the NFC Championship and loses. They're like how the Bills were in the early 90s, except for they always lose an NFC Championship, and I think they made it past their game and finally win this year. At least win that NFC Championship. But I don't think they're going to be beating the Bengals. Now, fun fact, both of the last times that the Bengals played against the Packers, both times of those were when the Bengals lost in overtime. Last time they played each other was earlier this year, the 10th day of the 10th month, the 10th day of October, where the Packers won 25-22 after a shit show of kicking. And I think that the Bengals are going to pull it off this year. It's going to be an overtime, but I also think the Bengals can do it. I believe in them now.
Alright, and that is it. Those are our 2022 NFL playoff predictions. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you to Coaster Brain for being in it and participating. I'll be leaving his links down below. And also, you should check out his second channel, his gaming channel, and that'll be bringing you some NFL content all playoffs long. So if you want to tune in over there, you can. I will leave his links down below. And thank you once again for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button, hit the red subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.